Thank you so much for the introduction. And the topic which we are discussing here in the room is about the compressed bio-natural gas, which is the very important part of the government policy. This distinguished panelist on the dais and the distinguished audience, which is a very mix of, from different fields. As the organizers have said that, there are academia and there are industrialists. So it is always, to cross discuss and share each other ideas so as to have a different perspective and viewpoints, and to also have come on certain common platform and common, like convergence of some ideas which will take place. And the innovation and creativity always flourish when we have different perspectives and viewpoints in the room. So I think this room really stands out from that point of view. So we are discussing here about the compressed biogas, and previous to Delhi I was working with the government of Goa, and also I worked with the UT of Puducherry. So there I had held the roles and various roles and various subject matters, but then these places are quite small and these are very ideal for the government of India to take their pilot projects. So in the government of Goa and also in the UT of Puducherry, the government of India holds their pilot projects before launching the schemes and programs in the entire country. So whatever the assessments and the feedback that they get out of the evaluation of these pilot projects, it is implemented with certain kind of modifications and tweaking. So from that experiences, my field experiences at the cutting edge level, I will share my views about the compressed biogas. Now, compressed energy policy, first of all, I would like to share that energy policy these days have become very important, and more so important after this Iran war. So it has been the government initiative that if we want to achieve the Viksit Bharat goals and also the achievement of the Digital India goals, where we had to set up so much of infrastructure in terms of servers and also installation of 5G and 4G networks, which are very much energy guzzlers. So it is very important that we become energy self-sufficient and energy reliant. And so therefore it has been a policy from the way back for the past 10 years that we should try to, in that the government is trying to encourage the non-linear sources of energy, which is in the form of maybe the ethanol, production of ethanol from the agriculture waste or the municipal waste, and also this compressed biogas which we are discussing, and also we are experimenting and exploring the various other non-linear sources of energy like green hydrogen, and also the innovations is taking place in so many other factors. Now India is a very populous country and it is an agrarian country, it produces large amounts of agriculture and the municipal wastes, and so therefore the agriculture and municipal waste which we have to leverage, which the government as a matter of policy is also leveraging to increase its farms' income, so as to generating various sources of income by selling and by utilizing and by converting through the means of generation 1 and generation 2 technology, so that they can also be utilized as a raw material for the other industry. So because these days the policy of the circular economy also has been initiated by the government, where the waste is converting the waste to wealth is happening. So now the waste is no more a kind of waste material for us, but also it is going to generate the wealth for the people who are around and for the stakeholders and the community as a whole. So waste to wealth is ideal and the basic crux of the circular economy, where the waste is to be leveraged as a raw material for the other industries. So now when we are discussing about the compressed biogas, now this is not a very new phenomena in our country, which is an agrarian country, and we have been doing it as a part of rural development policy of the government, and we were also using it as a tool for the women's empowerment or for the empowerment of the marginalized section of society. And we can see so many biogas units and plants at the small level throughout the country and for so many past years. And this is not a new phenomena for our country, and we have seen that all the waste, agriculture waste, which has been generated through maybe agriculture, rice husk, sugar cane, and all these other kind of raw materials which is generated as a part of this agriculture process, it is used and it is compressed in the digester and under the anaerobic respiration by the digesters, and then it is gasified, and it is purified, and then it is used as a gas for the cooking and also for the small scale industries which are set up in that particular areas of our villages or community. So this is not a very new phenomena, but now the government has taken it as a policy and has taken it as a commercial ventures, and it has come out with Satat scheme by the Ministry of Petroleum, under which various tangible targets have been given to these oil and natural gas companies, where they are going to set up, at least for now for the time being, 150 projects had to be set up so that they can lay down the gas pipelines, or they can use these kind of agricultural and municipal waste so as to use this non-linear form of energy sources to our various industrial and the industrial and small scale sector consumption, and also we want to meet the transportation sector units. Now, when I try to go through my experiences which I have seen in the small places like Goa and Puducherry, what has been realized is that these compressed biogas, now this is not having a very much high calorific value as it can be used in the heavy industry, but of course it is having that kind of an application which can be used in the small scale sector, which can be used by the small scale and medium industries, which can be used by some small transportation for the small transportation units, which does not involve transportation over the distance. But then the infrastructure also is required. Now what government is doing is best to generate the demand and also to generate the supply, other than making the policy. Now, in the compressed biogas sector, what has been realized is that there is lot of demand when it comes to agriculture sector, industrial sector, and the offtake is not a problem. Offtake is not the problem. The problem is the scaling. The problem is that the supply is not coming as it has been required, and as it is required in the form of standardized form. So the supply which is coming, now there are so many hindrances, there are so many opportunities, there are so many challenges when we go to why we are not able to scale, why our compressed natural biogas is not able to scale to the level of the demand which has been required by our industrial setup and by our transportation sector. So the reason, there are mainly various reasons for that. First of all, this feedstock which is used as a raw material, the aggregation of the feedstock is really a challenge, because these feedstocks are very decentralized. They are not centralized, located in one area. So therefore, aggregation units are required so that they can be aggregated, they can baled, they can be processed, and they can be condensed in the form of an aggregated form at one place. Then they need to be properly processed in the plant, in the biogas plant, which requires some amount of capital investment. Well, the subsidy is given by the government to set up the capital ventures, and they are been running also. But then even after these subsidies are been given and the feedstock aggregation is taking place, it has been realized that the plant which is producing the gas, it has not been able to optimize use, and the production cannot take place up to that kind of 75% level or the 100% level. So optimum production is not happening. So therefore, the producer is not able to exploit the economies of scale, and so therefore they cannot bring their costs down. So this is one of the factor. And also now when it comes to the compressed biogas gas sector, we are operating with the virtual pipelines. What are these virtual pipelines? These are the cascade type of transportation which takes place in the form of cylinders. Now the cylinders are filled with the biogas, and then they are transported from one place to the other, and sometimes they are even covering the distance of 50 to 100 kilometers. Now when they are covering this distance, what is happening is some kind of leakage, and the variability of the quality and the standards is taking a fallout. There is a setback in the standards of the biogas, which is when we are transporting it from one place to another over the long distances. So these all hindrances are there, and which the government is trying to cope up with it, and they have given the certain kind of mandates to these ONGC to the oil and natural gas companies, to the Bharat Petroleum, to the Indian Oil Gas Agency, to the Indraprasth Oil Gas Agency, all these agencies have been given certain mandates and that they have to enter into contract with the farmers so that they can they can buy and they can offtake their produce which is coming out of these compressed biogas in the process. But then only the hindrances is that these all plants are in the stage of, the intent, the policy, and not many plants have taken off because of these kind of hindrances and bottlenecks of the infrastructure which is taking place. But so also one has to see that this agriculture waste, only there are few waste which are very much conducive to produce this compressed biogas. First is the Napier grass. The Napier grass is grown in the deserted area. So this is having a high calorific and heat generating value. So the compressed biogas which is generated out of Napier grass is very effective when it comes to usage by the industry and also to utilize during the transportation process. But when we come to the other kind of waste which is happening, it is like food waste, right? Like some other waste. We have seen that the impurities are there in the process and they are not able to meet that kind of a process, that kind of a standards, where the CO2 has to be minimal, where the methane also has to be of certain 90% of it has to be methane. So standardization is really a point where we have to do a lot of work. And so at the same time, then the impurities are also there. Now I would like to talk about Delhi. Now Delhi, all the policies of the government mainly hovers around air pollution because it's a city, it's a capital city, it's the image of the country. So air pollution is a key priority. So whenever the Delhi produces a large amount of municipal waste, but when the compressed biogas projects which are implemented in Delhi in the various places like in Okhla or like in northwestern Delhi, what it has been seen that because of lack of the segregation, lack of technical and scientific segregation, what happens is there is lot of moisture in the compressed biogas what is produced, and the hydrogen sulfide emissions are also taking place. So these all things have to be addressed with the help of technology, with the help of startups, for which the Delhi government is also giving lot of incentives. So therefore the government is really doing lot at the side of generating demand, creating supply, and also at all the levels, at the multi-prong level it is doing everything, but still there is a long way to go, and still our transportation of this compressed biogas is taking place with the help of virtual networks, whereas it should be done with the help of pipelines, as it is happening in the other European countries. Like for example, if we take the example where we have done the field studies in Germany, also in Denmark, they have a holistic ecosystem. Now what is happening in India is that because of this, our promotion of this compressed biogas is on the basis of subsidy. It is subsidy oriented, whereas in the European countries it is more like a market oriented. They get their prices, the pricing of the products takes place on the basis of the markets, the demand and supply of the markets, which is being addressed by the government, that since recently the carbon markets have been launched, now the prices can be determined on these carbon markets, but these carbon markets, compulsory and moreover voluntary carbon markets, are at the infancy stage and they have to become more mature. But the things are on the way that we are able to utilize our compressed biogas more effectively as a raw material. Now since I have worked in the small places like Goa, which are also the tourist places, now there I have seen that where the requirement is sustainability, where the goal of the government is sustainability, and where the goal of government is that to leverage their domestic market, and where also the goal of the government is to see that we have to focus on the renewable sources of energy, then these compressed biogas is really getting lot of incentives. It is getting lot of driving promotion from the government. And so the leading states at the moment for this compressed biogas which are doing quite well when it comes to setting up of plant and also to creation of the good and positive return of investment is UP, is Maharashtra, and also it is Karnataka and the other southern state. Punjab is doing the catching up because of this kind of a rice paddy husk which is getting, but then still everything boils down to the backward and the forward integration, the upstream and the downstream. And mainly when we would like to generate the compressed biogas with the help of municipal waste, it is really a challenge, because then we have to overhaul and we have to formalize all the the entities and the players which are segregating the waste in the informal system, these rag pickers, they have to be brought forward from the informal sector to the formal sector, and they have to be recognized, and they have to be integrated with the formal sector. So the backward integration when it comes to converting the municipal waste to the compressed biogas is really very difficult, and it requires additionalities to the supply chains which are there. So in a sense, this compressed biogas is not the problem of not having an offtake, not having demand, but it is the problem of supply chain that we have to streamline. We really have to optimize, and we have to adopt a systems-oriented approach. An ecosystem has to be built if this particular compressed biogas has to offtake. Now we are really producing only 0.50% of our total potential. The potential is in the million metric tons which have been assessed by the Ministry of Petroleum. Now we are only producing about 0.30 million metric tons of the biogas, compressed biogas. And moreover, the natural gas consumption in our country is about 10% of the total fossil fuels. Well, I think the things are getting on the way. That is why we are holding this conference here, and we are deliberating and discussing on such an important, insightful topic of compressed biogas, for which there are many promising conditions, but then we have to work on the front of technology, on the front of feedstock, and the continuous supply of the raw materials to these biogas plants if we have to flourish and meet our targets. So I think the discussions are still going on, and I'll stop at this, and we will be getting more insightful perspectives and viewpoints from the other speakers who are present in the room. So thanks for giving me the patient listening. Thank you so much.